Dallas Cowboys will have the best defense in the NFL this season, with the best coordinator in Dan Quinn. Now the Ringer has backed me up by ranking the Cowboys defense #1 over the Jets, Browns, and 49ers at 2, 3, and 4. I believe this defense will rise above Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy and carry the Cowboys all the way to their first NFC Championship game since the 1995 season. That's 27 years ago. I have an idea. The two gentlemen sitting across from me think I'm pretty crazy thinking this. Richard, you played for the all-time great defense called the Legion of Boom. Does Big D have the NFL's best D?
They have the best defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn.
Only because you played for him.
Hey, great man, great motivator, great coach. If that's what you're ranking, then the Ringer, you got it spot on. But if you're ranking defenses and you're putting them over, they're not even the best defense in their division.
What?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
What?
70 sacks last season, and they got better. They subtracted Javon Hargraves. And you know what they did? You know what that other defense did in San Francisco? They got an addition of Javon Hargrave. So they had 70 sacks last season. They got an all-pro on one side, a Pro Bowl corner on the other side. What are we talking about here, Skip? And then you go to San Francisco 49ers, every level of that defense. You talk about an all-pro on the D-line. Not only an all-pro, Skip, but the defensive player of the year.
I'll give you that.
Nicholas, John, Bosa. Then you get to the next level. You're like, they can't have an all-pro linebacker, can they?
Yeah.
Can they? And Frederick Warner, and probably a Pro Bowl potential linebacker in Dre Greenlaw. Like they're, oh my goodness. And then you get to the secondary. They got good corners. They got good corners. The Amador Lenore played really well in the playoffs, made huge plays. Charvarius Ward playing good, making good money, making good plays. Talanoa Hufanga. First-team All-Pro. So that's 3 All-Pros on one defense, and then you're not even talking about Javon Hargraves in the season he had last year. You're not even talking about Eric Armstead and what he's been doing. Oh, my God, Skip. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. They have really good corners. They've gotten really good at the corners. Stephon Gilmore is still one of the best in the business, and he just was in Indianapolis, so nobody paid attention. You showed a play earlier. He tipped the pass. He's great. Trayvon Diggs. Great corner, all pro. Micah Parsons was in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation for a lot of years. Great player, all pro.
Yep.
But outside of that, I'm not worried about a lot of those guys. Van Der Esch? Van Der Esch? That's who you're going to go?
He made a Pro Bowl. That's all he did, make a Pro Bowl. I don't know.
But there's nobody on offense saying, oh, man, we got to worry about Van Der Esch. You put Christian McCaffrey, Van Der Esch on Christian McCaffrey, he's going to have a long day.
Hey, I don't know about that because, listen, the Wolf Hunter, as they call him, he can run. He might not be able to hit, but he can run.
You know, Cowboys got a good defense. There's no question about it. They got nice secondary at the corner position. Curses in the bad safety. The linebacker spot's good. Up front, their rotation is pretty dominant. They got a nice rotation on how they rotate guys in. And Dan Quinn, everything speaks for itself. Philadelphia, you talked about the sacks. Sacks help you win games. It drives offensive coordinators, keep them up all night. It drives them crazy. Philly has that for them. But when I'm looking at the San Francisco 49ers, he talked about Bosa, Greenlaw, Amador Lenore, Ward, was it Hufanga?
Talanoa Hufanga.
Talanoa Hufanga. Okay, you talk about all those different levels. The only concern that I would have if it was something in San Francisco, but it's really not a concern because Richard kind of assured me on this yesterday, is the fact that they lose D'Amico Ryans to head coach position in Houston.
I do think it's a pretty big deal.
Could hurt them, but they did lose Robert Saleh too.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and now when you look at who they replaced them with, you have to say to yourself, yeah, Steve Wilks is not chopped liver at the defensive coordinating position. So I don't see a drop-off at all. In fact, based on his schemes and the things that he likes to do, I see him taking a step up on the defensive side of the ball. Now, look, it all depends on whether or not the 49ers get Nick Bosa signed, get him signed, still deliver, and bring him in. I think Johnny Lynch is smart enough to know we got to get this deal done before opening day. I understand your fascination with the Cowboys, okay, and their defense. They're going to be good on defense, but I don't think they're better than the Philadelphia Eagles or the San Francisco 49ers on the defensive side of the ball. I just don't.
Okay. You both disqualified yourself when you went Eagles. I'm going to say it again. You're disqualified.
How?
Because on Christmas Eve, I'm going to say, I said it last topic, I'm going to say it again. They came to Dallas,
Dude.
and we hung 40 on that deal. 40, not 30. We hung 40.
Okay, so
and look at Dak's numbers. He goes 27 of 35 for 347. Gardner Minshew was the other quarterback, but he wasn't playing any defense.
Who had the #1 seed in the NFC last year?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Did
Okay.
the Philadelphia Eagles need the Dallas Cowboy game to get the #1
I don't
seed?
know, but if you give up 40, something is
It
wrong with
doesn't-
your defense. It's flawed.
It doesn't matter at that point in the season. I'm already done. We're just out here going through the motions.
Against the Cowboys, you never go
Okay,
through
you
the
don't
motions.
want them to go through the motions, Skip. But at the end of the year, there's nothing to Jalen Hurts didn't even play. There's nothing to play for.
They're just protecting themselves for the playoffs. Hey, we
There
got to
you
get to the
go.
playoffs healthy. This is
There
the
you
Dallas
go.
Cowboys'
Stop.
playoff. That's so they
Yeah.
can talk about it. Their regular season is their Super Bowl and has been for the last, umpteenth years. Since the playmaker had a jersey on. But you're talking about a Philadelphia Eagle. If I just went individual players, Hassan Reddick, 16 sacks. Josh Sweat, 11 sacks. Javon Hargrave, who's now with the 49ers, 11 sacks. Brandon Graham, 11 sacks. Good old,
I just got
reliable.
one name for you. Micah, 11 from heaven. I got Micah Parsons and you don't. It's as simple as that.
I just named 3 people with more than 11 sacks on one defense.
Okay,
I got Nick Bosa.
Okay. All right, and I'll give you that. And by the way, to all your points about San Francisco, I got Dallas losing at San Francisco in the NFC Championship game, in part because of the defense and in part because of Kyle's offense, because he'll just make miracles. I don't know, it's just too hard to stop even with Brock Purdy. Okay, but now I look at Stephon Gilmore he's a top 3 corner. And with Trevon, I couldn't make it up in the lab any better. I got all-time textbook with the head and with the body. He can press you, he can do, you know him well, you're friends with him. He was exactly what the doctor ordered because I had nobody over there all last year. I had a parade of guys, none of whom were any good. And all of a sudden, I've got Stephon as the bookend to Trevon, who is the ultimate ball hawk. I can smell it, feel it, go get it, receiver playing cornerback.
Right.
Look, I love Slay and Bradbury. They're pretty good, but I don't think they're quite as good as Gilmore and Trevon.
The problem, though, Skip, with that is, and he'll tell you because he played in the secondary. I did a little secondary work in my light career as a football player. If I got up front pressure and pass rush, guess what I can do?
Well,
I can do a lot of different things on the back end.
Hey, I
can do a lot of different stuff.
Pass rusher, and this kid they drafted, Mozzie Smith. You want to talk about a 350-pound
70
anchor?
plus sacks.
I hear potential things, but I'm talking about realistic things. These guys really were doing it. And then this kid, Jalen Carter, you talking about Mozzie Smith? Mozzie Smith, cool. I hear you, but Nolan Smith.
Okay.
What he was doing, they got Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. My
Georgia
goodness.
North. I
The
got
rich got.
Hey, listen.
Disgusting.
I got a 3-headed monster at safety. Donovan Wilson is really good, and he can really blitz. And Malik Hooker and Jaron Kearse, listen, they're star power there.
You even found something in the nickel. He had 5 interceptions last year. You found fool's gold late in the season.
In that
but
Deron Bland,
nobody-
and
nobody's
Jordan Lewis
saying-
is back, who's a really good nickel.
Nobody's saying that Dallas doesn't have a good defense.
Okay.
They just don't have the #1 defense.
Okay,
That's
well,
all.
I think the defense is going to rise above some issues.
You
I
also,
have
with Michael
that.
Irvin, think they're going to go win the Super Bowl.
Right.
I didn't say that. He said that. I didn't say that.